What's up, internet? My name is Kyle, back with another episode about cameras, tech, and all that good stuff. Today, we're going to talk about the different tips, tricks, and hacks for your Sony a6000. Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. For those that are new here, this is the volume 3 video of tips, tricks, and hacks that I've done for the a6000. I will link a playlist down below, and I will also link it up here of volumes 1, 2, and then I'll add this one to that playlist. So without further ado, let's get into the tips, tricks, and hacks. I love making this type of video because it makes me sit down, look at the camera, look at the different things that it can do, and then I myself find settings that I've never touched, and I get to tell you guys about it, but I also get to learn about it myself. So anyway, here we go. Okay, so tip number 1, kind of a hack, but also a tip, is that you can charge your Sony a6000 through the mini, is it mini or micro? Crap. So it's a micro USB, which sits on the side right here. You can charge your Sony a6000 through an external battery pack. The camera actually does not come with an external battery pack like the ones that I talked about in the accessories video, either the Wasabi or Power Extra. The camera only comes with a USB cable to micro USB to charge it that way, which is definitely not a favorite thing for everybody. It's much more useful to use an external battery pack, but I digress. So yes, you can use a battery pack to charge this camera when you're in the middle of nowhere and there's no outlets. I myself am looking to get a battery pack to charge that way, so I will link down below the one that I think that I'm gonna get. Okay, so number 2 is a two-parter. It's the title menu or the mode dial guide. So the Sony a6000, or a lot of Sony mirrorless cameras, are known for their menu system being cumbersome, a lot of tabs, a lot of pages within those tabs and so forth. Well, depending on how your camera comes out of the box, there is a title menu that has icons and actually shows you the name of the tab instead. I don't think that was on when I got my camera, but this is how you turn it on. So to turn on the title menu splash screen, you'll have to go to Menu, then Setup, which is the briefcase, or tab 6, and then go down to Title Menu and turn that on. So then when you hit the menu button, you'll see the 6 tabs, but you'll see the actual name for each tab with a picture. Now, after you select one, it then goes to the normal menu system, so it looks like it usually does without the splash screen, but this may help some people. So the second part of this one is the mode splash page. So when you switch a mode, say from aperture priority to movie mode, it shows you a screen that, hey, you're going to movie mode. And with movie mode, when you're on that screen for a split second and you hit the center button, basically the OK button, you then get other options. So aperture priority video mode, manual video mode, program auto video mode. Without that splash screen, I'm not sure how to get to that. So if you turn off the mode dial guide and you don't have those screens when you're switching from mode to mode and it doesn't come up on the screen, it just changes it in the top left-hand corner. So it will, change from an A to an M or an M to an S, and it won't actually show on the screen real big what mode you're in, which I kind of prefer that. But like I said, I'm not sure how you would change then the video mode if you want to change the video mode. I think you can only do it from that splash screen. So I don't know if you guys know the answer to that. I know I'm supposed to be giving you guys the tips, but I don't know the answer to that, if you can get to those sub modes of video mode without the splash screen. But I thought that was interesting. Okay, tip number 3 is actually something that I started using a little while ago, which is taking photos in 16:9 and also 3:2. Now, it's very important to note your camera sensor is 3:2. It's not 16:9. So if you shoot in 16:9, which is widescreen, normally when you see like the black bars on the top and bottom, you're going to lose resolution. It's literally cropping the sensor. I've done this a couple times with like landscape and stuff like that. And I've put it in my kind of quick area in the functions side. To change the aspect ratio, you go to Menu, Tab 1, which is Camera Settings, page 1, and then you'll see aspect ratio where you can choose between the two ratios. If the resolution hit isn't a huge deal for you and you like the look of 16:9 a lot better, you know, you look at photos on your TV or your any device really that has widescreen capabilities, you won't get those black bars. It's gonna fill the screen. Now, tip number 4, it kind of goes further a little bit, is if you're doing panorama. So also, if you didn't know, the Sony a6000 can do panoramic photos. So if you change your mode dial to panoramic, kind of looks like a wide screen type icon, you will be able to, you know, do the I should probably show you instead of saying move slowly. Oh, I didn't move slowly enough. The camera will tell you, hey, you need to move slower. But back to the point is, if you want, you can do panoramic 16:9 and not the normal 3:2, which would give you that wider kind of look. Again, the resolution will be lower, but if you like that look, if you're gonna display it on some kind of wide display or something, you may wanna use 16:9 instead of 3:2. So again, be on panorama mode, then go to menu, tab 1, camera settings, and then panorama size, and then you can do standard or wide. Okay, tip number 6 is something that I use all of the time, and I actually, diving into this setting, I was like, ooh, there are other ones that I might wanna use, which is grid overlay. So right when I got this camera, I turned this on immediately. I totally forgot that there were other ones, but I use rule of thirds, which is basically the 9 boxes that you see with, you know, the screen split up into thirds. This thing started like up here and now it's all the way down here. So you guys have no idea how many times I mess up saying these things, but anyway, it's been a long one. Okay, so to turn this on, you go to menu and then you go to the second tab, which is the gear symbol for custom settings. And then you go to page 1 and then you'll see grid line. So within that menu, you have a couple choices. So there's the rule of thirds, which is what I use. And then there is square grid, and then there is dish square grid, and then there's off, where you don't have any lines on your screen. So you can use this for obvious reasons, different compositions and stuff like that. When you wanna put your subject in a different rule of thirds section, or you wanna put them a little bit off center, but you're not sure exactly where the center is, this would help you achieve those compositions. Also, keep in mind that this is gonna show both on the LCD screen and it's gonna show on your viewfinder. So both in the viewfinder and on the screen, you can tell the camera what stuff you want to display on it. So if you hit the menu button, you go to tab 2, custom settings, the gear symbol, and then on page 1, at the very bottom, there is DISP button, which I believe stands for display. I don't know what else it would stand for, but anyway, DISP button, which on the back of your camera is the up direction on your circle dial. When you hit the DISP button, it doesn't change it for both. When you're up on the viewfinder and you're hitting the DISP button, it's gonna change what's showing. And then when you're looking at the back of the screen and you're not looking at the viewfinder and you hit the DISP button, it's going to change what's on the screen. So it doesn't change them both simultaneously. So like I said, when you hit the menu button, tab 2, very last option, DISP button, hit OK on that. And then you have a choice, monitor or finder. I'm gonna do monitor first. And then in here, there's check boxes for what you want to cycle through when you hit the DISP button. There's graphic display, display all info, no DISP info, histogram, or for viewfinder. You cycle through them, you'll see what's on each of them. Let's just go through it really quick. So graphic display is actually the one that I was missing on mine. It was on my girlfriend's camera, and then I looked at mine and I'm like, I don't have that. So what that shows is actually pretty cool, especially for beginners. I would highly recommend turning on graphic display. It's gonna show you a little graph of aperture and a little graph of shutter speed. The one on top is shutter speed, and on the far left, there is a person just standing there, not in motion. And then on the far right is a person running in motion or going fast. And then you will see the shutter speeds closer to the person that is not in motion or slower, and then the shutter speeds closer to the person that's running are faster. And that's the very basics of shutter speed. Is a faster shutter speed captures and freezes motion, and then a slower shutter speed can be used for people that are still or still objects. So then the graphic below shutter speed is aperture. So you have a low f number at f1.4 on the far left, and it shows a picture of a person in focus, but the mountain background not in focus. So it kind of indicates to you that, hey, a lower f number means a more blurry background. Very basic understanding of that, and that's what that graphic is trying to tell you. And even if you're an experienced photographer, it may just be something that you want to look at. It's definitely helpful in manual mode, and it's just a great infographic. I really wanted it on my camera, and today I found where to turn it on. Then there's display all info, which basically fills around the screen all of the stuff you want. When you turn this on for the viewfinder, it actually shows outside of the frame. So when you put your eye up and you're looking in the viewfinder, all of that information is not gonna be in the way, but on the back LCD, there is no black border, so it's gonna be on the actual frame. No display info is obviously the least amount of stuff on the screen. And then obviously for histogram, it will show the histogram on the screen. We'll go over what that is in another video. And then for viewfinder is only there for the back screen because it's gonna display a lot of information and black out your back LCD screen. So you're not gonna see anything besides just all of the settings on the back of the screen. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool that you can kind of configure what you want on the screen. I need to breathe. I am like out of breath here, guys. Okay, that about sums it up. Going through the different settings and stuff. Definitely more tips than hacks this time. Sorry about that, but there is always a chance for volume 4. If you guys have any tips, tricks, or hacks that I haven't mentioned in any of the 3 videos that I've done, mention them down below. Maybe I'll put them in a future video, or maybe we could just talk as a community down there and share different stuff about this camera. Thank you guys so much for the support. Thanks for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Later.